been living under a rock.
Yeah, so my name is Elijah, and I run the YouTube channel and lots of other social media under Card Perfect Magician. Been running that since January of 2019 on this channel, and then been working at it ever since. Still not doing this full time. I'm actually a middle school teacher, but it's an absolute blast doing this as a little side hustle. So,
All right. Yeah, I've been if I'm not mistaken, I might have been there since towards at least towards the beginning, if not right there.
no way.
Um, now I've been sub to you for a while now, so
That's wild.
yeah, yeah. And here we are. What do you know?
Year one, I think I only like after the first full year, I only had 385 subscribers. I think it was.
Yeah, I remember some of those earlier like playing card reviews and stuff like that. So
Those were
that was
rough.
way back.
I was
I
looking at some
mean,
the other day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what in the world was I doing?" I'm like, I'm glad I started, and you got to start with where you're at, but
yeah.
yikes.
I've only been on here doing this for about 2 years now.
Okay.
But I enjoy it. I really like it. Actually, the interviews parts, connecting to people is one of the things I really like the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've met so many cool people through here that's just stuff I never would have thought of. And it's the best part is like, especially I live in Indiana. The amount of people who live anywhere near me who actually know anything about sleight of hand, cardistry, YouTube, anything, zero to like, there's just nobody. So it's been really cool either be you or Silas Noise or people who run different companies that I've worked with. Just being able to actually talk with other people and just like go to different cardistry jams or whatever. It's been really, really cool.
It's hard when you live out. I live in Central Florida, and
Okay.
unless you're living somewhere that's kind of like big city, like you said, it's hard to find other people that do sleight of hand or are into magic in general.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess one of the first questions I like to start off is, how did you get into magic?
Yeah.
What was the first introduction to magic in your life?
Yeah. So it was in eighth grade. Um, my one of my friends brought in a self-working card trick book, and this was probably beginning of second semester. And I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. Whatever. So the two of us for like a month are just learning every trick in this book. Every single one of them is like the 21 card trick that like they're the beginner ones that everyone has knows and no one should perform, right?
Yeah.
And we did it for a month and it was great. She quit doing it after that month and I became obsessed, honestly. Like I'm always very achiever mindset and love kind of being in the spotlight. I always have put me on a stage and that's where I kind of thrive. So it gave me an opportunity to meet people and kind of show off whatever skills I was learning at the time. So at this point, this is 2013, and I start uploading to YouTube. So I actually had a channel before this one that I uploaded to for 4 years. What a problem was I didn't know how copyright and stuff worked. So after 4 years, I had been doing it, had hundreds of videos, and one day when I was about to at church, I was back in the green room right before I was about to go up and play, and I got an email from YouTube saying, "Hey, just letting you know your account got terminated because you got like copyright strike after copyright strike after like somebody just went and reviewed it, and I got just riddled with them, and they deleted it on the spot." So it took a couple years to be able to get back and start this one up, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
had a couple of those copyright strikes early on, and I realized that's probably not good.
Mm-mm.
So let's get rid of those.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely learned a lot from that one, that's for sure.
what's up, Big Deck Energy and Nico? How y'all doing? Um, okay, so what was the book?
Honestly, I don't even know. She brought it in and then she took it back after that month. So I started looking up stuff on YouTube and watching other people on social media and just trying to like dissect what they're doing to try to learn stuff. But for the first bit, and even the reason I uploaded to YouTube originally wasn't because I was trying to grow on YouTube. The reason I actually started the first channel was because I knew I was going to forget everything that I'd been learning. Because I'm like, I'm just learning so much and like every day I'm learning something new. And I'm like, I just know with the volume of what I'm actually trying to take in, there's no chance I'm actually going to remember it all. So I made tutorials for myself to look back on, and that was what I did for the first year. And then I was like, wait a second, I've made like less than $1 just from a random affiliate link that I found, and I got less than 400 subscribers. But if I can do this when not really trying to do it, just really doing it for me, like what would happen if I actually tried to do it? And that was when it actually kind of all switched over. But the actual original book, I have literally no idea.
It's funny. I have a similar sort of origin story in that sense. It was a Carl Foles self-working mental magic.
Okay.
And, it was like elementary school. You're required to purchase 2 books from the book fair, and it happened to be one
Mhm.
of the books that I bought. And I learned one of the tricks out of it. And I was very into David Blaine when his specials would come on, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
wait, I can do this type of stuff too.
Mhm.
It's crazy. It developed from that point. But that's yeah, that's interesting. You got to find that book again
Yeah, I'll have to reach
just
out
to
to
have it in your collection.
absolutely. Absolutely. That'd be I should have thought of that before this. What the heck?
That's your next mission.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And who
awesome.
knows? You might find something in there that you can twist and manipulate and make it into something different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So when it comes to your side, like I know that you do some sleight of hand and stuff. Do you do any like shows or performances like outside of social media, or do you just stick to social media and stay
I
there?
I do well, I work a lot, so I when I do stuff, it's like mostly for friends and family. I'll do a little bit of like street stuff, a little bit of street magic here and there, perform for random people.
Yeah.
But I don't do much shows. I've had a couple of requests to do parties and stuff like that, and I've done things like that. But I
Mhm.
don't really get out there and perform stage or anything like that. I would
Yeah.
like to, I just don't have the time balancing family and work and everything else. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe, in the future, I'm definitely open to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm like I've been kids parties I would decline every time. Like the style of magic that I do just doesn't fit it. Like
Right.
what the only time I've ever done anything even remotely close to that was a friend of mine was having a family reunion, and I didn't realize how young some of the people were going to be, and it was like from 5 to 75. Like it was everywhere in between, and it went over like the bottom third of everybody just straight over their heads. So I was like, not doing that again. So now I do like weddings or banquets or things like that, but not
You kind
hitting
of
it.
got to know, what audience works best for you, for
Mhm.
sure, as a performer. I would love to learn, more kids magic. It's not really my style. I'm more of like a street magician, close
Mhm.
up type of
Yep.
guy. But I perform for my daughter all the time, and she actually likes playing cards, and she's starting to get into it. I'm teaching her some of the easier self working stuff, so that's been
Oh, yeah.
fun. And she's starting to get into it, and that's pretty cool. I can see like eventually in the future she's going to be my little mini me magician.
Absolutely. How old is she?
She's 6. She'll be
Oh,
7
man.
in September. Yeah, so,
You're getting them started early.
yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Well, and my thoughts are, if somebody were like there to help me and mentor me on, I would be like 20,000 times better than I am now if I had a little
Absolutely.
kickstart.
Mhm. Yeah, it's honestly the I feel like the most part, like the biggest part of magic, if you're wanting to actually do it, is actually just putting in time on it. Like it doesn't actually take a ton when it comes to like learning a technique. You're like, man, I can't get this down. An hour later, if you just did it for an hour straight, you probably have it. Like you won't have it mastered, but you'll have it at least done well enough to where you can go out and perform and start
Perform
figuring
it,
it out
yeah,
with other
at
people and
least
angles and
decently, right?
yeah.
I agree. Yeah, there's definitely been things that I've practiced over and over, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get this, and it's taken me a long time to get it to where I want it.
Hmm.
But then eventually, you start to get it, and you get it once, and then you keep going. You're like, oh, it's not that great, but then you just keep going with it. I have to be sparing with my time, like I was saying, but so that kind of hurts me when it comes to practice and stuff like that. But I try to practice as much as I can. I bring a deck of cards with me to work.
Hmm.
So I get
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
get in as much practice as I possibly can. perform for my coworkers in my spare time, and stuff like that. So
Yeah. What do you do?
actually, I make juice. Believe it or not,
You what?
I make juice. I'm a blender. I make like orange juice, tea, like Arizona tea, good to grow,
Yeah.
juice products, stuff like that.
Huh. That would scare me that my cards would get wet, but
Got a waterproof case, but I've ruined plenty of decks already.
yeah, I bet. Yeah. No. It actually, oddly enough, because I'm being a middle school teacher, there's a lot of overlap that I didn't expect there to be. That I can actually use it either like for a lot of lessons, which has been so fun. And then at one point, I had right before I actually applied to be a teacher, I wrote a curriculum to like maybe use as like an online course or something. And then I presented it to them. So last year when I was teaching, I got to teach a class on sleight of hand cardistry playing cards, like for a full semester for 6th to 8th graders.
Cool.
It
What?
was it was so sick. Like a few of them are still doing it. Like one of the kids came up to me at the end of the semester and at the start of the next semester and he goes, "Hey, I only asked for playing cards for Christmas. I now have over 50 decks." Oh my gosh. A couple of them even like started their own YouTube channels and stuff. It's been
That's
really cool to watch.
awesome.
Yeah.
Man, if
Yeah.
you still have that curriculum, please send it to me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to my daughter. I'm like, we're gonna start on this, okay?
Oh yeah.
She loves all that type of stuff. She's very smart. She's a smart girl.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of it I've actually uploaded to like on my own channel. There's been a few of them that I've like kept to myself, but for the majority of it, it's probably already up or about to be. So yeah.
Okay, see what you mean. Yeah, there are those things though. There's like certain things that you don't want to give away. Some things you can't give away, and some things you just don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
there's a
get
couple of
that.
them. There's probably one I'm actually about to take down. Um, Probably right after this. Now that I think about it, it was a coin matrix part,
Okay.
and it was an instant reset. So you finish your routine, and it looks like the routine should be done, and then you just with one wipe, everything goes back to like its original set.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, I was pretty proud of that one. I was in the middle of a college class, and I came up with that. I was like, I literally left. I was already in the back of the class anyways, and the class already had an A, and I was like, I don't need this. I'm like, this is a marketing class. I could teach
I,
it.
I swear I've had that feeling at work, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like writing in my notes real quick, and
Mm-hmm.
like I want to go home, but I know I shouldn't, so I'm gonna stay. But
Oh
you
yeah.
got to get it down, get a little practice video in real quick to remember
Mm-hmm.
what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
The one summer I was working a factory job, and I couldn't have my phone out with me on the floor, so I carried a Sharpie in my pocket, and I would literally be like writing on my arm, like just to make sure. If I was like, I'm not, there's no way in the world I'm gonna let myself forget some of this stuff, so I'd carry a Sharpie or a pen or whatever. I'm writing all over myself. Every night I've got to take a shower and scrub the heck out of my arms because like I'm just coming up with stuff all over the place, and it's what you got to do sometimes.
That's crazy. If you ever get a permanent marker, you can always use uh, the what are they called? The like whiteboard
Yeah, the
markers.
dry erase ones.
The dry eraser markers. Those actually they have a chemical property that'll erase the permanent marker.
Yeah, I found that out last year when I started teaching because of the amount of kids that I have. They're like, "Yeah, you might want to know this." I'm like, "You're probably right," and they weren't wrong.
A fun fact: there are some interesting ideas in magic that can be done with that.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, think about that one. I'm gonna let you stew on that one and come back to me. I know we're gonna have some fun ideas with that.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I could definitely have a lot of fun with that one. What in the world? Hmm. Yeah, that's
There's
awesome.
so many good ideas out there, man. It's just like sometimes like you said, it gets a little overwhelming. How uh, I mean, obviously you're very knowledgeable when it comes to magic, sleight of hand. How do you retain all the knowledge? And do you sometimes feel like it's a cup that's overflowing and you're constantly putting new information in? And how do you retain things beyond what you told me earlier, where you're making videos to kind of remember some of the things that you learned?
Yeah. Honestly, making videos has been the biggest part of it. And the other thing is like I have notes on notes on notes of all of my favorite tricks and how they're done laid out in actually Google Docs so that I can go back because I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna love this trick. I don't want to forget it. And I'm learning a new sleight of hand technique or whatever all the time. I know for a fact there's a number of them that I've just lost over the years just because I've picked up so many at this time. But that's one. The other side of it is actually just performing as much as possible. So when I'm actually out doing card tricks for people, whether it be street magic or friends and family or whatever it be, weddings or banquets or who knows what, if I'm out actually performing and you get to see the reactions and you start like critiquing yourself, that's when you start to realize, okay, well, now that I've been thinking about how this angle didn't work at this performance and how this didn't work at this performance and how I can kind of change that to make it better. When you're spending all that time just going and rehearsing on it, trying to be able to improve yourself, because you're spending all that time already on it anyways, it just making it easier to keep it in. The other thing is from a teacher's perspective, I was doing some research. I majored in psychology in my undergrad, so I look up stuff on research all the time. And I found that the number one way to retain information isn't like just going over notes or anything like that. The number one way, not even playing games, is to teach someone else. The number one way to do it is to actually show someone else how to do something, which is
Yeah.
kind of unfortunate for sleight of hand, considering you're not really supposed to. So find other people in your life that actually already do it so you don't have to kind of break that. But for the most part, if you can teach somebody else, which is why this channel has been so helpful with all the different techniques, where I don't have to teach this person's trick or this person's trick, but I can work on an individual technique. So I'm working like diagonal palm shift or whatever, and I can teach somebody how to do that. They can then take the diagonal palm shift and the double lift and this and that and whatever and create their own stuff. So I'm not making another version of me. I'm teaching them how to be another version of them. And at the same time, also remembering all so much more than I ever would have.
That is true. I find it easier to remember slights because you're practicing them over and over.
Mhm,
Like full blown routines or things that tricks that take like a lot of different steps to accomplish.
mhm.
Um, I find those more difficult. Like you said, if you're not practicing them enough.
Yeah.
Um, but that idea of teaching, I'm gonna have to take it slow because my daughter's still young. But I'm gonna kind of like work that into it and try to see uh, how much I can teach her. Early on. I'm still trying to get her able to shuffle and stuff. We're working on the overhand shuffle right now, but
Okay. I'm
see,
not gonna lie to you. When my sister, when we adopted her when she was 5, and I screwed up because I taught her one trick, like the flip the bottom card over, select
uh,
the card, flip it, right? What I didn't realize though was and this is when she was 5, so that would have been like 9 years ago, right? So this is when I'm first starting out. And because I didn't realize you could just like put it behind your back to get this card turned over or to try and teach her, especially when she's 5, how to get this one flipped. That way it's now face up and that's the only one in the middle the other way. So what I told her to do, which I never should have, was send this like this. I said, okay, take this and put it on their forehead, tell them to think it over, and then when you bring it back down, you just bring it back down like this, right? That was what I told her to do as like a way to be able to get a 5-year old to be able to actually perform this trick. The problem was whenever she would do it, she would take it and crush your forehead every time. I want to let you know the amount of people that got mad at me because they would walk up to me in like random places and just say, "Hey, I'm glad that you're teaching your sister some of this stuff, but you have to stop because like," and they would have like a mark on their forehead because she's just out here, bam, thinking over. I'm
break
like,
them.
it was the funniest thing though. It was awesome. Oh yeah. Definitely not when I'm gonna teach stuff like that again, but
Yeah,
you live and you learn.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on that one, at least that version
Mhm.
of it.
Yeah, I'd probably stay away from that version. Definitely a lot of other ways that I recommend doing it now, but yeah.
Okay, so there is something interesting that I wanted to get into in this conversation,
Okay.
which is Christianity. I whether people know or not, I'm Christian and you're Christian as well. So
Yeah.
how do you see how do you see Christianity and magic? Because I also know that you recently like had playing cards uh, that were like symbolizing that, right?
Mhm.
How do you see the two intermingling? And I'll elaborate more on the question here in a bit. I want to hear the first half.
Yeah. So that one's actually been really tricky for me for a few reasons. One is the fact that when people hear magic and they don't hear the word sleight of hand, immediately their mind goes completely to the gutter, right? They're thinking like voodoo or tarot cards or all that other stuff, which I do not associate with whatsoever. They're like, okay, well, this guy's going to be casting spells and whatnot. I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the problem is with that's why specifically when I tell people I do sleight of hand, not I do magic. Though there's not even gonna be a chance. And then usually I have a deck of cards on me, so I'll pull out a deck of cards and show them something. That way they're not thinking anything that could be even remotely false, right? So that is definitely a big part of it. Um, the issue for me, especially with running a YouTube channel, like wanting to be able to spread the gospel through this platform that I have, like since I've gained a following, it would be a waste for me to not try to spread the gospel through this medium as well.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But there's not a ton of places that there's overlap between the two. Like if I was running something on like as just like a vlog, well I could talk about the fact that I go to Bible study and I go to church and then I led this person to Christ and I drum for like there's so many different things that I could talk about. But I haven't found anywhere in scripture yet where they said, okay, well then he shuffled a deck of cards and he like when he was working on cardistry, like there's no I don't remember Moses ever picking up a deck of bikes, right? Like it just it's not any I haven't found it anywhere. If you find it, please let me know. That would be really helpful. So it's why I've tried to either put more parts of my own personality into some of the videos. So if there's a deck of cards, it's this is actually why I've reviewed a couple of certain decks. So right over here. Let's see. I have too many decks of cards. Goodness gracious.
I see that. It's quite a collection.
Yeah, there's that's 100, that's 100, that's 100, and that's not all of them. Oh, here.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen, Glenn. Good to see you in the chat, brother.
yeah. So this one,
Oh, I've been meaning to get that deck.
right? So it has that on the side, and I'm like, and there's other things like that. Some that have like a middle finger on it.
What did it have on the side? I couldn't see it.
It says never F asterisk 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 ing give up. Now it actually has asterisks on it, so it doesn't actually say the word.
Ah, okay.
So, which is why I was willing to actually do a deck review on that deck, which is something I wouldn't normally do. There's been that one. There's been other ones on, like from Daniel Madison with like an upside down cross, like the Madisonist decks. I've done like a number of different deck reviews on things that normally people either wouldn't think about. I even got sent the 666 deck from a company as just like a sponsorship, and I told them like, "Hey, I will pay you back for this," and I threw the deck in the trash. Like,
Yeah, that's not something I would pick up or have in my collection. Just not interested in that at all.
right, and I didn't know what decks they were going to send me ahead of time, anyways.
Oh
But
yeah,
then they
yeah,
sent it to
for
me, and
sure.
I was like, I will totally, I'll pay you back. I'm not sending it back to you because I don't want even somebody else to have it. But which is why it's been a little bit difficult. But those types of videos where I would do a deck review on something like that gives me the opportunity to say, okay, here's why I covered this portion of the box up when normally I would show you. It's because I'm a Christian. Or here's why X, Y, or Z. Here's the reason why behind why I'm doing it, not just showing you the deck of cards like everybody else could do. And that's also
Now,
why. Oh,
you actually led completely into the second half of my question.
oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, go for it.
the second half of my question is: how do you deal with people that do not understand the difference between a magician and someone who's like doing witchcraft
Mhm.
or I don't even know what you would say, sorcery or XYZ, somebody who's
Yeah.
doing the dark arts, or like, how do you explain that to someone? Because I've ran into this, and I study theology somewhat, and I like to look into these things in the history and the text in the original language to see what it really
Hmm.
says.
Yep. Like the
And
Hebrew and stuff. Yep.
when it comes, because most Bibles say the word magician, but if you
Hmm.
look at the original text, it doesn't say the word magician, it says sorcerer.
Hmm.
Now
Yep.
you got to get into, well, what is the difference between the two? What
Hmm.
is the origin of the word magician? The origin of the word magician is magi, which
Hmm.
magi is also described as a wise man, which
Yeah.
is interesting enough. If you look into the nativity story,
Right.
three wise men were magi. They were magician. They were wise men. So
Right.
it's confusing to most people who don't look that far into it.
Right. And most people
So
either wouldn't spend the time or wouldn't even think to. Like it's just not something like, oh, I'm going to go and try this out, or I could, but I don't really care to. It's probably not even coming to their mind like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Probably not even getting them to that point.
now, me personally, because I have run into this
Hmm.
plenty of times.
Yep.
I usually say what I'm doing is for entertainment purposes. It is, like you said, sleight of hand. I like I said, I don't do tarot cards. I don't do any of that type of stuff. What I do are things for entertainment purposes
Hmm.
and entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
I guess the second half of my question is, and it's a very long-winded question, but how do you deal with that? How do you approach that? How do you explain that to your fellow Christians that don't necessarily understand the differences between an entertainer and somebody who's doing, you know, like they would say,
Sorcery or
demon
witchcraft or
stuff
something.
or
Yeah.
witchcraft or
Right. Um, Well, if somebody were to ask me, there's a few different ways I could go about it. The first of which is saying, okay, well, when it comes to what sorcery is, I try to define them first. When it comes to sorcery or witchcraft or tarot cards or anything,
right,
humans don't have that power on their own to be able to do that, right? So the
right,
problem is, if somebody is actually practicing witchcraft, sorcery, whatever, they're not getting that from themselves. And the places that they're getting that from is not something I want to be associated with. So
right.
I'll explain that side of it. And then I'll say, okay, when it comes to this, people probably could do different sleight of hand things using some of that stuff. Then I will usually show them something simple. Like I will show them, okay, like I'll do the trick for them and I'll do like a diagonal palm shift or a double lift or whatever the thing is, and then I'll show them the backside of it. Like, okay, like here's the magician's point of view. And just
Uh,
it'll be something super simple that I can still show them a bunch of stuff. It'll be like if it was diagonal palm shift, they're probably not going to see that ever again in their life. Like most people don't see card tricks on the regular, like the people who are actually in the community. So if it's something like that or whatever, I'm not going to probably show them the double lift because it's so frequently used. But
Maybe a snap change or something like that.
right, shake change, snap change, whatever it is, right? I will show them something. Okay, here's the behind the scenes of it, and the fact that it's actually just practical, and it's me doing something that you can't see, not that it's using something that shouldn't be used. I'm just manipulating cards, and I'll sometimes even show them cardistry, right? Like I'll do something here. I'll say, okay, this is card manipulation. I'm just doing card manipulation in a way to fool you, instead of doing card manipulation in a way to be able to impress you, like cardistry is. So I kind of try to take it that way and define both and show them a little bit first of like, here's actually what I'm doing. Here's now, and then I can go and actually perform other card tricks and go, okay, well, here's other stuff that I can do that I'm now not going to show you and try to actually fool them at that point. But if I can show them the behind the scenes of it, then it's really hard for them to be able to overcome and go, okay, well, that's probably going to be witchcraft, voodoo, whatever, when they've now actually seen with their own eyes what I'm actually doing.
Right.
The other part that actually comes along with this isn't for people who assume that I'm doing witchcraft. The other part that I have to do a lot of communicating with is people who just disagree with me, just in general. Like when I was trying to put out Chainbreaker, which didn't end up funding, I'm going to end up finding some other way to get it through. But when I was working on putting out that deck, which was a completely faith-based deck, like there's Bible verses on all sorts of stuff and so much Christianity symbolism in it. The amount of comments that I got were like, "Hey, I actually really like the design of the cards. but I'm really just upset that the fact that you had to tie in this myth. And I'm like, okay, let's back up, right? So, like, and that's something that somebody would be saying to me in the YouTube comments, which I'm like, okay, not that I'm happy that they believe it's a myth, but it gives me again an opportunity to be able to actually talk with them when normally I wouldn't have that opportunity if I just do a deck review or something.
Yeah.
So, not that it's always going to be easy, but still makes it worth it.
I find it interesting that somebody would say something. I mean, that person would have to be an atheist or something like that to say, to have a comment like that, considering that Christianity literally has probably the most evidence,
Oh yeah.
for Christianity versus any other religion out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh
There's
yeah.
historical evidence, archaeology,
Yeah.
it's all there. It's actually pretty amazing if you really start to look into it. You'll be amazed.
Yeah. The amount of different people who wrote the Bible on the amount of different continents who never met each other and then have cross references to things that each other said over hundreds of maybe even thousands of years when people did like wrote it apart.
Even the over 300 prophecies that were fulfilled by Jesus Christ in
Right.
in the Old Testament. That alone is just amazing. How, like what are the odds of that? If you try to look at it, the statistics, or what are the odds of that happening?
Oh,
It's
so
nearly
fractional.
impossible.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, I have a better chance of
that's
flying.
one small portion of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like,
I find all that stuff very fascinating.
I
And
think that,
and I don't think that people need that, right? People don't need that to have faith. You don't need that to believe in Christianity or to believe in Jesus Christ. But I find it so fascinating that it's there if you want to look for it. It's right there.
I was watching a video about a month ago where a guy was trying like doing like street evangelism, and he came across somebody who was an atheist, and he said, "Okay, before I go any further, if you knew with 100% certainty that Christianity and everything a part of it was true, would you become a Christian?" And then the fascinating part is if they say yes, then you can actually present them evidence and actually attempt to actually lead them that way if you need to. If they say no, that means it has nothing to do with evidence and it actually has to do with the fact that they feel like hurt by God or something.
I Funny you mentioned that. I read this quote in David Blaine's book. Just got this recently, but I read this quote and it was like the first what you just mentioned is the first thing that it made me think of. And I want to see if I can find that quote here. Okay. It's a Dunninger quote. It says, "For those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who do not, none will suffice."
Mm.
That is like the first thing I thought of when I read that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, which is so hard for me when I see people, and even the person that wrote the comment that I was just talking about, it was paragraphs, right? That wasn't just like the one line. Like it was, I can send it to you after this. Like it is wild the amount of comments I was getting.
I find it strange sometimes what compels somebody to be so passionate to, like for example, if somebody else has a religion or whatever that I don't agree with, I'm not going to go out of my way to down that person's beliefs. I may disagree with them if we're having a conversation
Mhm.
and maybe explain my point of view or maybe try to explain to them why I think what I believe is, the right option. But I wouldn't like if they were making a deck of cards, for example, that was I don't know with Buddha or something.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna downplay that or say I wouldn't do what this person was doing to you, which is strange. So I just wonder what would compel somebody to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I mean,
Strange.
I definitely have something on that one. So whenever I get hate comments of any kind, which when you upload as many
They
videos
they
as I
come
do,
they come sometimes. Yeah.
it just happens, right?
Yeah.
But when you get those, that means from their perspective, there is somebody out there in the world who is watching your video and intentionally took the time to try to hurt you. That means something is going on in their life that's not right. So the best thing to do isn't to like attack them back or whatever. It's just to show compassion, right? What else could they actually be needing? They're not lashing out because they're feeling great. The amount of times that I've been like, man, today's a great day. I'm going to go roast somebody. It just doesn't happen, right? It's
Yeah.
even biblically, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? That verse is one that I love to quote all the time because it's so applicable. If somebody's leaving that in the comments section, that's because that's what's going on in their life. They probably just went through a divorce, or they just lost their house, or they just like something is going on in their life that is traumatic enough to where they need to be able to lash out on
Now,
other people.
would you say that again for me? The verse that you quote.
Now, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Overflow of the mouth, the heart speaks. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
So
definitely speaks volumes for sure.
yeah. And it also makes it so much easier for those of us who are believers to be able to go, okay, I know today I'm having a really hard day holding my tongue. Or I know today is like I've been super stressed at work and I've been like I'm working on like I just got married a month ago. So I'm like I'm trying to figure out
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. I don't know why she said yes, but I'll take it. Um but like I'm like, okay. Well, now I got to figure out all these different insurances, and now I got to figure like there's so many like adulting things
Yeah.
that I now have to be able to figure out. We just changed her last name yesterday, right? It's like we're going to
It's
the
so
DMV and we're going to Social Security. We're setting up all these appointments and trying to get doctors, and it can be stressful. Life just can get stressful sometimes, and when you get in those seasons, you're like, okay, well, I know I might be more temperamental today. If out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks, and I've been consistently in the word, I might have to be even more so today to be able to actually fill myself up with what is good, fill myself with more of Him. That way, afterwards, when I go back out and am interacting with other people, I'm not tempted to lash out based off of what my own feelings about what my own life is at the moment. I can do it based off what I've actually been filled with.
now full transparency. God definitely speaks to me through people I interact with, and just little things that happen through life. And this is something that I struggle with
Hmm.
for sure, 100%. I struggle with that. Yeah, I can have a silver tongue, as they say, for sure.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's not a good thing. It's something that needs to be tamed for sure.
yeah. Well, look, the thing is for me, as long as you're one working on it yourself, and two attempting to grow closer to Him, you're gonna be okay. Because what He actually cares about is your heart, right? He cares about the actual relationship. If you like with you and your daughter, if she has something that she's been screwing up over and over, like when she's disobeying in this certain area whenever you want her to eat something specific or whatever it is, you still love her just as much afterwards.
Oh
You
yeah,
want
of
her
course.
to improve and you want her to stop doing that thing, but you're still going to love her just as much. It might come with some discipline. It might come with some things taken away or added to your life that you don't want, but you're still going to love her just as much. And the father is doing the same thing. Like it's just working on you. Plus, since God is perfect and sin is the complete antithesis of that, those two things cannot be in the same place at the same time. It's light and darkness. If you have a light in a room and I'm currently on the like in a dark room and there's a light over here, the closer I'm getting to the light, even though I'm not trying to even get rid of any darkness, it just happens because I'm getting closer to it. I don't have to try to like, okay, well, I gotta like we're talking about transparency. For over 10 years, I had a pornography addiction, right? I didn't get over that because I tried to quit. I got over that because I got closer to Him and I quit by default.
Right.
So when it comes to anything like that, for anybody struggling with anything, you get closer to Him, you'll get rid of the junk in your life because He can't, God and sin do not correlate. So you get closer to Him, the sin goes away by itself.
That is true, and that is something I've noticed. The closer I am, and my wife says the same thing. The closer we are to God, and the more we pray and stuff like that, things seem to change a little bit. Even in our relationship and our everyday, I don't know, everyday occurrences, just things seem to get brighter and easier. And
Hmm.
uh, she's also, she's also Christian. That is something that we connect with, right? We connect on that point, very, very hard. There might be other things that we disagree with in life, like anybody else, right?
Yeah.
But that is like something that is solid foothold for us, for sure.
Yeah, it's foundational.
That is something we've both noticed. The closer we get to God, the better things are.
Yeah, always is. Always is. It's why I try to put it into so many of the videos that I make. I'm like, if I can, I will. I mean, even watch this. So this was done from a decision standpoint of like branding. So the logo I actually have is right. I put across in here. This line right here did not need to be there. Right? This line has no business. It's not a part of the C, it's not a part of the P, it's not a part of the M. That line is just so that I can have a cross in the center of my logo. That is the only reason that's there, right? So like even simple things like that. So when people are like, "Man, your logo looks so dumb," which I've got that one a lot. I'm like, "Well, let me show you why." Like the people are like, "You should get rid of that one line." I'm like, "Okay, well actually here's why I have it." Right? So like there's been so many things like that that I can then try to work in the background. That way it starts conversations, which gives me an opportunity.
In conversation about God. That's literally one of the reasons that I wanted to speak to you. Like I said, I've been a subscriber of your channel for a long time, and realizing, that you're a Christian, and like I tell you, like I study a lot of things that has to do with God. So it's funny because things will come up in my feed, with that, and then sometimes I'll just do a deep dive into one particular subject,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when your playing cards came up, where you were, explaining, the connection with the playing cards, and I'm like, man, I really want to speak to this guy. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you took the time to sit down and actually talk to me today.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you're entirely right. Like, did the playing cards work? No. I tried to raise $10,000 on them. I raised like four. It didn't work. Right? That doesn't mean it's not going to. That just means it
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah,
So, but me attempting to create that still prompted this opportunity. Like, what if the entire purpose behind those cards, in all the months that I worked on it and the money that I put into it, even if it only brings one person to know the Lord better, even if it's because of this conversation or anything else, that still makes it worth it, right? I don't
I,
get to take playing cards to heaven. I don't get to take the money I make to heaven. I don't get to bring a YouTube following or anything else, but I can bring other people. So, okay, the Kickstarter didn't work. From an internal perspective, makes absolutely no difference.
no, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Like, if
It,
I can help bring somebody else, that sure as heck does.
I think that's why, like, these interviews mean so much to me, is these connections that you get to make with these people, and they seem to touch me a lot more than sitting in front of a camera doing sleight of hand, or doing a trick for a camera. Now I do love doing magic in person,
Mhm.
but sitting down to do some of this stuff sometimes can be a little grueling, or sometimes I have to find time for it. But when I
Yeah.
can schedule an interview and talk to a person and have a heart to heart with another human being out there in the world, especially one where I can speak about the gospel, or Jesus, or Christianity in general, or even just religion,
Yeah.
is awesome. Yeah.
I would reach out to Silas Noyes. I
Okay.
don't know if you know of him. He's got like probably almost 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and like he's been blowing up. But I started talking with him when he was at like 1,500 subscribers. So right at the beginning of his journey on it, and he is a believer as well. So he's been growing in like his social media following. But that's been a really cool connection. So I'd highly recommend interviewing him if you can.
Okay. I will take your advice right now. I'm gonna write it down in the notes. Is that Silas with an S or a C?
Mhm. S. And then his last name is Noyas, I think it is. I can send it.
Noyas.
Noyas.
Well, it's a good thing you say it out here on the video. So if anybody wants to look him up, also, that's always a good thing too. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
his
but
card
also send me
is
the information on the side, just so I can find it easier, I guess.
yeah. Yeah,
That is
I'll send you
awesome.
his like
An
profile stuff
afterthought
after.
that I had on our last question before we kind of went into a whole different direction, but that was blessed that we did that. It was great. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I always think about how funny it is with magic, right? The earliest known book on magic tricks is the don't have it here. Yes, I do. The earliest known book on magic tricks and how to perform them is The Discovery of Witchcraft by Reginald Scott.
No
And
way.
this book, yeah, this is interesting, and you're going to find this very interesting and actually kind of ironic. This book was first published in, let's see, I'm trying to find the original published date, not the reprint here.
Mm.
But I think it's 17.
Whoa.
17. Hold on, 17th century. Oh, I'm sorry, 1584. Excuse me.
Oh my
This
word.
book was first published in 1584, called "The Discovery of Witchcraft" by Reginald Scott. Why is
Oh
this
my
book interesting?
goodness.
This book is interesting because this book was created for the specific purpose of being sent out to the lords of the land, so to speak, or the governors, or uh, I don't know what you would call them at the time, but it was sent out to them explaining that witchcraft was not real, that these things were tricks to deceive people into thinking that they're real.
Mm.
And a lot of the witch hunts and all that stuff were stopped by the publication of this book.
No way.
Very interesting. So I just find it so ironic that the first book on magic tricks
Mm-hmm.
was a book, claiming that witchcraft is not real. It's all gimmicks, sleight of hand, trickery, and it's all explained here in this book in a very interesting way. And let's see if I can. There's not very many pictures in this book, as you know. The printing press was like uh, just invented not that long after this book, I believe, or
Yeah.
not that long before this book. But
Right.
there's a couple interesting pictures here depicting like uh, gimmicks and stuff like that.
No way.
Early, obviously, super early gimmicks. Uh, and some of them we still use today, which is pretty hilarious. See
Are
if I
you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you at all. This is actually like I love the history on a lot of this stuff. It's very, very fascinating. But I just find it really ironic, So I think this is a point that I bring up a lot of times.
No way.
Yeah, so I know you recognize this. The
No.
old, yeah, the
Oh
old chunk,
yeah.
right? So look how old that is. So that's just amazing, right? The old look
Oh
fake,
my goodness
the old
gracious.
head chopped off in the platter and all that type of stuff.
No
Um,
way.
yeah. Uh, Matter of fact, the interesting thing here, this trick here is known as says here to cut off one's head and to lay it on a platter, uh, which is called the Declaration of John the Baptist, which
Oh
is kind of
wow.
it's kind of like depicting that whole scene, which is there's just so many correlations and stuff, and it's just so hilarious to me that the first book that was ever printed describing magic tricks and how they're done is a book that's literally telling you witchcraft is nonsense. It's trickery, and nonsense in the sense that you know. It, I mean, a lot of this stuff is tricks, right? Yeah, a lot of this stuff is tricks, and I think that it's debatable whether you want to even believe that witchcraft is a real thing or these people think they have power or whatever. But I just find it really ironic and interesting that that
Yeah.
is the first book saying, "Hey, that's nonsense. It's just trickery. Here's how it's done,"
Yeah,
and
even the
how
references
old it is.
towards like John the Baptist and stuff. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, just blows my mind.
Did not know anything even remotely close to that existed.
Yeah,
And 1500s, that also threw me off. Like I own a number of different sleight of hand books back there, and but whoa,
yeah. Since it was the first, I was like, I gotta own it. I gotta see what's in it, and there's some interesting stuff in there.
that's crazy.
I wanted to show you that because that was like an afterthought as we were having our conversation. And I'm like, you know what? I got to share this.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, I think that I wish it could be more easily woven to more things. Right? I wish that one creators of all niches, regardless of if you're doing sleight of hand, cardistry, playing cards, or even basketball or whatever, would be more explicit with it. That's one thing that can drive me a little bit crazy. But again, everybody's in a different spot. But it's why I did things like this. For Descendants, I have this card. This is one of the ad cards, and it has Psalm 30 verse 3, which talks about how even as we were descending into the pit, how Christ pulled us out. Now that one actually has the word descend in the verse, which is why I used it. Um, and then the motto for it, because of that verse, the motto for the deck is no matter how far you descend, you can always look up. So it uses both, which is then why on the court cards, their faces are physically looking up,
Oh, that's
right?
cool.
So I actually like
Everything
tilted their
ties together.
heads. Yeah. So, but again, things like that give me an opportunity. So when people are asking like why I created the deck or anything like that, I can talk about the cardistry applications or whatever, but I can also, depending on like who it is and where they are in their faith, I can pivot it different ways.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Have you ever thought about putting out a deck of cards or anything?
I've thought about it, just realizing the amount of decks that you have to print. Like, because I would preferably, I would like to print with United States Playing Card Company, just because I like how they feel. Versus a lot of other places. There's some close stuff, but if I had to choose one, I would try to, get like, um, I would try to get like a thin crush stock or something similar like that. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that
I
would
totally
be
get it.
awesome.
I totally get it. Like it's been fun making some stuff through NPC through Make Playing Cards.
Yeah,
It's like I've just been making all sorts of different prototypes of stuff that I've been designing. So, do you know XQ49 playing cards?
and no, I don't think so.
Um, they were made by Thorsten Schmidt. Um, here. So this is the guy that I actually reached out to be the designer for Descendants. So they look like this, but then
Okay.
every one is slightly different.
Oh, that's
Then when
cool.
you go through them,
Oh, that is so cool.
yeah. So because of
Okay,
the slight,
already thoughts are running in my head for ideas of what you could do
yeah,
with that.
and depending on how you do it, it riffles, it goes different ways. So
Cool.
yeah, so super sick deck. But
Yeah.
since he was the designer for Descendants, and they come both based off like the golden spiral like design, I made a prototype combining the two.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's my physical design, but instead of it being black, green, and white, now it's the red, black, orange, black, yellow, black, and each card is different. So it's both. So I'm
Oh,
working on one called Reclaim the Rainbow, right? So like I'm coming up with it's like the fact that the rainbow is taken and perverted into now its current meaning, trying to like take that back, right? So but I'm coming up with all sorts of prototypes all the time.
it's funny. My wife says the same thing all the time. She's like, you know what? She's like, no, that's not what rainbow means.
Yeah, I'm like it's supposed to be a symbol of God's
It's a
promise.
promise. Right, right. See, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that was actually the other thing that was really fun for me is I when on my wedding day, I made decks of cards as the wedding favors.
Oh, that's
So
cool, dude.
it was so sick. So because like normally there's like the hour of like the cocktail party,
Yeah.
the cocktail hour, whatever it is, where so we just had like a lemonade bar and some light snacks or whatever. But normally everybody just sitting there at their tables looking at each other. I'm like, this seems boring. So I put 2 decks of cards of the ones that I designed at every table. So like all of the court cards have a ring on their finger.
Wow,
Um,
that's
like
dope.
there's all sorts. It's in our wedding colors. There's an A, an E, and an M for Addison, Elijah, and Myers in like hidden in the back design. It's like the um the one of the 3 ad cards is a half Queen of Hearts, half King of Hearts. So like there's lots of stuff like that. So then people can actually just sit around and play cards and do whatever while they have that hour.
Again, there's tricks that can be done. I'm just thinking,
Oh, oh
I
yeah,
can't help myself.
oh yeah. That's been the look.
Yeah,
MPC. If you have like a gaff idea,
yeah,
you can just print all the ones that you want to, right? Like it's been so helpful. I've done that a number of times.
yeah. There was a company that they print like specialized gaff cards and stuff like that. They were a little bit pricey, so I stopped buying from them. But I ordered a couple of unique cards.
Hmm.
Got a buddy of mine that loves gaff cards, so if so, where did you say that you were printing gaff cards with United States Playing Card Company?
Make playing cards.
Oh, Make Playing Cards. Okay, I never went to them though.
Yeah, so they do print on demand stuff. So you could print 1 deck, you can print 30 decks, you can do whatever. So and then of course the more you do, the cheaper it is. But which is why like okay, well I have one prototype of this and I have one prototype of this, and that's how I made the prototype for Chainbreaker or Descendants or anything else when I'm so I don't have to go out and print so many for something that might not even work. I can just make one, make a few others to send out to other people, and there you go.
That's
It's done.
an interesting idea. Where like for personal friends and family, you have some special cards printed out with their faces on the
Hmm.
courts,
Yep.
and you're gonna do you're gonna do some things, and cards get swapped out, and you have them holding the card up, and next thing you know, so it was gonna be like an idea with that mixed with like a filter, like a camera filter, so where you're taking a picture of them and then their face obviously is going to be on the card, like, but for real, and they're going to be thinking that, oh, it's just in the app, but then they turn, like you get swapped, and then they turn the
Hmm.
card over, and their face is actually on that card, and you
That's
have the
it.
card signed beforehand and all that type of stuff. So there's
Yeah.
some ideas floating around up there, about
Hmm.
that type.
Yeah. I'm like, I've already designed one with my dad's face on. I'm still working on the rest of the family, but I'm currently working on that because I have a deck called, oddly enough, Elijah Myers playing cards that I'm working on. So, but I've been having way too much fun. So each of the court cards is like a different part of my personality, and then there's like a few of them that are for family members. So like there's one court card that is holding a Bible. There's one court card that has red velvet cake. There's all sorts of different parts like that are like the biggest parts of me. There's one that's a drummer. There's one like that have all these different ones.
Okay.
So it's been that one's been so much fun to even just work on designing, just to see like what stuff I can weave in different ways.
So
That's
since you're also a big playing card guy, you're like me. I got way too many cards.
hmm
It's not a good thing. It's like an addiction sometimes.
hmm
I'm like, no, I'm not buying any more cards. I got enough cards.
hmm
What is your favorite playing card back design? If you
First
had
of
to
all,
exclude your own playing cards or
yeah.
any of the cards, like playing cards that you designed,
Mhm.
and you just had to choose one.
Um, Backup question before I give you that answer. Are you talking for cardistry, for magic, or for collecting, or where are you going?
Oh man. Okay.
Because
So
like I'm like my
okay.
favorite one for sleight of hand versus my favorite marked deck are two different things. Because my favorite marked deck is
Okay.
probably
Okay. We're gonna break it down into 4 categories. Okay.
okay. Go for it.
Collectible,
Okay.
mark deck,
Okay.
cardistry,
Okay.
and then there's one other section you said that wasn't. collecting, mark deck, cardistry,
And just
and
sleight of hand, like because I don't always use a
okay,
mark
and sleight
deck
of hand.
performing.
Okay, so let's say just performance. So performance,
Mhm.
like any type of performance,
Yep.
um, collectible, mark deck, and then cardistry.
Okay. Well, luckily, I actually have all these in order.
Let's save mark deck for last because that's probably my favorite subject out of all those.
Okay.
Let's save that one for last.
Okay. Yeah, I literally have these in order from number 300 to number 1. So this is about to be really, really, really easy. That took forever and a half, but okay. 1, 2. Let's see. Oh wait, no. 3. Where's the other one? Oh, that one's gonna be tough. What in the world am I gonna do for that? Shoot, I have 3 of them already done.
Okay, well, let's see what you got.
I'm like, I have cardistry, I have marked, and I have collector. Shoot. Man, that one's tough. For
Which one are you stuck on?
Performance.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with.
Yeah, I would break it down to: am I performing for a layman or am I performing for a magician? Because then my choices will change.
Man. Okay. Let's go with this. All right. Okay, which one do you want first?
Let's do cardistry first.
Cardistry. Okay. When it comes to cardistry, love simplicity, but it gives me creative freedom. So, orbit chroma key. The amount of things that you can do with these. Orbits are. I own probably 8 different orbit decks, but it's just the basic orbit design with a green screen. So then everything can be,
that's cool.
So then the amount of different edits you can do with these, putting like now you can choose what the back design is basically.
I see.
So,
oh, that's cool. I would have never thought of that.
Another deck did one similar where Z Deck by December Boys put 4 green screen cards in theirs.
That's interesting. I would wonder if there was ever a knock deck like that, because that would have been a great idea.
Yeah, so they have these 4 for Z Deck, and they do. Knock does have it.
A green screen color.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I might have missed that one.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the 3000 something.
Right? These are Knock Sport Green.
Okay.
Yeah, so these came out. These are one of the first decks. These weren't like this is after the original Knocks.
Yeah.
But so they came out with these, and they came out with a pink version.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, Sport Green and Sport Pink.
Huh.
Alrighty. Ooh, 10%. Hello. I might have to run and grab a charger in a second, but.
Oh.
Which one you want next?
Oh, let's see here. Collectible.
Okay. My favorite is probably you're going to see a theme here. Green might be my favorite color. So these are the luxury Knocks, gilded.
I'm a big fan. Oh, the gilded ones.
So I have both.
Yeah.
So these are the gilded ones.
I have a love-hate relationship with gilded playing cards.
How so?
They just feel weird to me. I love the way they look, but they just feel weird.
It's why I don't really perform with this deck. Like, it's a great one to have, and it's a great one to like do a little bit of cardistry with. But even like doing a dribble just feels weird.
It does feel weird. Now I have what is it? I have one of the DMC ones, one of the like signature edition or something like that. I have that's open that I play with that's gilded. and I'll play with it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, I want to put these down.
Mhm.
I want my paper back, man. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so performance.
Okay, performance.
Yeah.
This is really simple. I'm going cherries. Cherry Casino. I know
Yeah, you
most
can't
people
miss
are.
with Cherry Casino.
I know most people are probably like wanting some Theory 11 deck or something with a more intricate design or something. But since one Cherry Casino comes in mnemonic stack out of the gate, so it's mnemonic stack, double backer, blank card, duplicate jokers, and since there's so many different color variations, it doesn't take me any time for me to be able to do something like Chicago Opener. I grab one of the ones out of the blue deck or whatever, and I'm good to go.
That is a good benefit. Yeah.
Which Chicago Opener is one of my favorite card tricks, like period. So
I have a variation of Chicago Opener that I learned from, and I learned it from Andy Gladwin, and I kind of put a little bit of my own spin on it. Actually, that I have a tutorial on it. You might want to take a look at it because Andy Gladwin's thinking on it is brilliant. I love his effect.
yeah,
Um, put a little bit of my own twist on it, not too much, but he has a really good version if you like Chicago Opener, aka Red Hot Mama, you know.
yeah, yeah.
If you like that, check out his version. I forgot where I saw it, but I'm sure if you type in, you know, Chicago Opener, Andy Gladwin, you'll find his version of it, and you'll like it a lot. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's very simple too. It's easy and it's amazing. I love it.
Cool. I'll check that out. Absolutely. All right. Mark deck. DMC
Oh,
Elite
classic,
D4 green. These,
classic.
I'm like, you can seriously read these from like eternity away, and you're like holding it back here. Somebody else has it across the room, and you're like, yeah, I'll
What is it
still.
like? They say 7 feet. I mean, my eyes probably can't see them 7 feet, but hey, I do pretty good with them.
I mean, honestly, you still might be able to. Like, I mean, I have glasses now. They're mostly just because I get headaches, but still.
I'm supposed to wear glasses, but
Now, I
they're
did just
scratched
get
on.
one. I did just get a marked deck this past week from another company. So these are bicycle invoked playing cards. These are just as easy to read as DMC Elites.
I didn't know those were marked,
Mm-hmm.
or else
So
I would have had them picked up already.
yeah, so
Hold on. I mean, I gotta.
yeah, so this one right here, literally once you know it, just as easy.
All right. Okay. Tell me what the card is and hold it up and let me see if I can even catch it because it's fooling me as of right now. I'm fooled.
Okay, let's go. All right,
Okay. So what is this one?
King of Hearts.
Okay. Hold on. I think I see it, but I might have to ask you later if okay, so all I'm gonna ask is, uh, so it's a reader, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the
There's a
way
reader
you
in
read the way you read the suit and the way you read the the indice or look,
values.
I'm getting twisted up. The way you read the value and the way you read the suit is different. No?
They're right
Okay.
next to
Then
each
I
other.
might be a little confused because it's fooling. It really
Yeah,
is. I gotta
it's
get those.
just like DMC where they're right next to each other. Now the placement is different, but
Okay.
now it's also done as a cipher on the border. So you can do it both ways. This one is marked in like 4 or 5 different ways. I just did a review on them. I think it was last week, but honestly, when it comes to the marking system,
I
like
can't buy any more playing cards. Look, what are you doing to me, man? I've got to get those. I have this case here where I have my favorite marked decks. Like
oh
because
nice.
I love marked decks, and so this
Mhm.
is like my top favorite marked decks, and then I have more that I don't have in the case, but
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite things in playing cards because there's just so many ideas. I'm right now. I'm working on a book about. It's going to take me forever because I'm just so busy, unfortunately. But I am slowly but surely working on a book, and I haven't talked to anyone on on this channel about that. But
Mhm.
one of the things in Magic that I love because there's so many things you can do with it.
Mhm. Here, give me one
Um,
second. Let me run and grab a charger because my phone's at 6%.
okay,
So I want to actually be able to finish this. That would be
okay, no problem. All right, so I wonder if I freeze, pretend to be frozen. Would you guys think of that? The camera froze.
here we go.
All right, I can't hold it that way. All right, let me look at the comments here. I've been ignoring this. Sorry, guys. The conversation's been really good. I've been ignoring the comment section here.
There we go.
Sorry, everybody that commented.
No, I get it. I've went live a number of times and I have the same problem. It's rough.
It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't done interviews where I'm trying to manage the comments either. So that adds another twist to it. But
It's a little easier if you're by yourself, but
yeah, I will say when it comes to you clearly like Mark decks, which
I love
I'm
them.
with you. I have uh 25, 30 probably different mark decks. What I'm doing right now, I just started this 2 days ago, is I'm going to start doing on my short form content. So either Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever, marking system reviews without actually spoiling what the marking system is. So I do like,
Oh, good.
it's like whatever it
I
is.
love that
I do
because
like,
we have a little bit too much exposure on the shorts. Like I think the long form is okay because most people that are watching a long form, if you're gonna watch a 30-minute video, it's probably because you want to learn, not just learn the secret.
mhm.
That's my personal opinion on it, but we need less on the shorts.
Yeah. So it's why like I don't actually say here's how you read it. I do if it's one that I can read from far away. So if it is DMC or if it is the invoked playing cards or whatever, I'll see how long it's going to take me to read it from arm's length full extended, and then I'll do another one where it's just reading it close up, so that people can actually say, okay, how long does it actually take to read this deck with a random dribble and cut? Is this one
Now,
I can?
the one you just showed me, that's called Invoke. Is that right?
Yeah,
Invoke. Okay.
invoked.
Okay. Invoked. Okay.
Yeah, so this was made by magicandcards.com.
Okay.
They just sent that to me. They also made
And it's bicycle too, bro. I'm down for that.
yeah, they also made the Paul Ruscio playing cards.
Oh, nice. What?
Yeah, so they
Are those open? I don't want to make you open them, but I want to. I
no,
don't want to see
I'm
what they
about
look
to
like.
open them because I'm probably gonna do a deck review on them. But
All right. Well, I'll watch that, and I want to check those
yeah,
out.
so I ordered when no, that wasn't Magic Cards. That was Jet Setter. That's who did that one. So because the other day I just got this marked deck, the marked version of Black Jet Setter, and when I got these were also in it. And I was like, so I actually reached out to Jet Setter. I'm like, this wasn't a sponsorship. I just bought these. Why are these in here? They're like, yeah, we just randomly put those in random people's orders. I'm like, I'll take it.
Take it. Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
it's the reason
happened
why I
to
haven't
me
been
like
interacting with
twice before, where I'll order cards and there'll be like an extra deck in there, and that's
it.
happened to me twice from eBay. Random different buyers too. It was very strange.
No
And
way.
they're just like, oh, thank you for the order. Here's this gift, and it'd be a nice deck too. Not even a cheap deck. Like wouldn't be like a $2, $3, $5 deck. It'd be like a $10, $15 deck, which is really cool.
No way.
Yeah,
That's sick.
and it happened to a buddy of mine, the same guy that I told you he likes the gaff cards.
Yeah.
He got what was it? It's the one with like the is it a I think it's a Daniel Schneider deck with the little moth, like the little moth with this oh man, I forgot the name of it. But he got that deck for free. And that's not like a cheap deck either.
No, Daniel Snyder puts out quality stuff. I have outrageous amounts of his cards.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I just did a video with the MXS casinos.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan, of course, you're gonna guess I'm a big fan of the Black Roses.
Hmm.
Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
brilliant. They're
I think about
beautiful.
5 of those.
I love them.
Hmm. Yeah, I wish more of them were marked, but like they're beautiful.
Wait, not all of them are?
Mm-mm.
Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah, so I think it's
that.
I think immigrant isn't.
Oh, okay. You're saying all of his decks. I thought you meant all of the black roses. Okay.
God, no.
All right, well,
Like was this one? I'm trying to remember if this one. I think this might have been one of the ones that wasn't.
some designs they're just a lot more difficult to mark in themselves, you know.
Yeah, I think this was one of the ones that wasn't the immigrant.
Oh, okay. So they are black roses, but
Hmm.
just different variations.
Yeah, so this is Black Roses.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm like I have a couple of them that are not marked, but I also wasn't a big fan of this green anyways. So that was
Yeah.
yeah, that was beside the point. But yeah, no marking systems, mark decks. I love figuring out like getting marked decks and not looking anything up just to see how long it takes me, just like as a almost a puzzle. Do you do that first of all?
I do that. Some of them, like
Then let me
the
put you on.
the white lions, which there is no like official, thing to look up. So I had to research and then cross reference different people to like really figure it out. Because there's people that have it. It's weird. There's people that have it figured out, but they have it figured out because there's multiple ways to read them. A lot of people don't realize that.
Hmm.
I didn't really realize that at first. So I was the first way I found out how to read them. Um, I was reading them, but it was more difficult than the other way.
Yeah,
So I didn't know there was multiple ways. I had no idea.
yeah. I
And
just
now,
sat there and looked at it for like 4 hours before I actually got all of it.
and you just figured it all out.
I think so. I mean, I guess
That,
I don't know, but
bro, that's amazing. That deck is something else.
that one took me forever. The one that took me the longest, the top two are both David Blaine decks, of course. So it was White Lines, and then these. So these
Oh,
are the Skull and Bones Private Reserve deck.
yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like this one took me forever. It was also the problem was it was my second marked deck ever.
Ah, okay.
So and not only is it my
I
second
think
marked deck,
I remember watching that video too.
so like and that was forever ago.
Yeah, I know.
So like that
I'm
was
trying
one
to
of
tell you, I've been watching your channel for a long time.
yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my first one was a knock deck, and then I went from knocks to that, and I'm like, took me forever.
I love the Knox marking system.
Hmm.
It's not like very practical in the sense of being able to read it quickly.
Unless you're doing one just for suit. Like if you're doing just like the
Right.
queen knocks instead of like knock pros or whatever. But yeah.
However, I think the system itself is genius, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
It's I taught my daughter to read them,
Hmm.
and her being so young, she picked it up so fast. It was like shocking to me. I'm like, what? You can read these?
Hmm. There's a few different binary decks that are like that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what the others are. I think knock was the first one to put out a binary code.
yeah. It, I think so. I think so. But I love their system. I have so many here that are great. Of course, these are classic. If you don't have these, you should find these.
Oh, I don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they are like butter. So the crazy part is when these first came out, I missed the run completely, and they were dirt cheap. They were like $8, like $7, $8.
Mhm.
Now they go for like $30.
Jeez,
30. I've seen them go between $30 and $60.
that's
But
ridiculous.
I have like more than a brick of these because I love them so much.
Hmm.
So they are also they're readers. I mean, probably not gonna be able to see them on there, but
Yeah. I mean, I'll
they're
take your first.
readers. Yeah, they are readers. They're really, really cool. And just I love split spit. This is my favorite back design of all time.
Okay.
And you can see exactly how fast they are to read. So if I was just to dribble to a certain card, 6 of diamonds, super quick.
Hmm.
This is the 7 of diamonds, and I'm not doing that in order, I promise. And this is not it's a double.
Yeah.
But they're super quick. And I love these cards right here. There are so many. These are fun too if you haven't seen these by Steve Della. The
I've seen
Night
those.
Fights. Yeah,
I don't have them, but I have seen them.
they're pretty cool. I actually like these. I like the back designs too. They're pretty sweet.
Mhm.
The case is like a plastic, so you
Okay.
don't have to worry. So if you're working in an environment where it's little
Humid or whatever.
humid or drinks or they'll help protect your cards.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you have these or not here.
I do not.
Okay, so these are from the designer of the DMC Elites.
Okay.
They are basically the exact same card,
Oh wow.
except they had a falling out. I had a whole video on the whole situation. Uh, yeah, I don't really know 100% what happened with Phil Smith and Drummond, Money Kuntz, but they had like a little falling out or something along the lines. I don't know the whole situation, but
Yeah.
they are no longer working together. That's why if you've seen the V6 DMC Elites, they are not to trash them because I talked about it enough already, but they are just not up to par to the originals or the older ones.
Yeah. All right. Let me turn
Um,
the door real quick. But
okay.
like, sorry. AC just kicked on. I was like, I'm not.
For
But
anybody out there, I love DMC as a magician, but the new cards, I'm not a fan of them. Phil Smith, wonderful designer.
oh yeah.
Pick up his new cards.
Oh yeah. He's
They're
incredible.
great.
The only ones that I thought were weird was the sharks, the DMC sharks.
Yeah.
I don't know. That feels so off brand. Like I did not understand that one at all. I got them at like a garage sale or something. I was like,
The originals,
I don't
like
even.
the ones that are the diamond shaped,
Let me see if I even have them over here.
dude, those go for a pretty penny. Because there's like there's the original sharks, and then there's the Sharks V1 and Sharks V2.
Yeah, I'd have to see if I can find them, but yeah, I'm not even sure where those are at.
Dude, these took me forever.
Hmm.
These took me forever to read.
Which ones are those? Sorry,
The cross keys, they're the cross keys, and they are oh man, they are by Peter Turner.
Oh, okay.
The cross keys, so illusionist Peter Turner. They took me a really long time to figure out, and they're readers, and they're just so well hidden. They just like completely fooled me for the
Way.
longest time. Yeah. Like I actually like, oh man, I got one that isn't marked and I put them away. And then one day I'm like, hey, let me check these cards out again. And I just started going over them.
Even with a riffle test?
I took them to the movies and everything, and I couldn't like figure out how they were marked.
Even with like a riffle test or something?
I did the riffle test, and I just didn't see it the first time.
No.
Then the second time I saw the variation, but then it took me. I just like had to just keep going through, and then I'm like, oh, that's it. It's one of those. It just
yeah. Once it hits you hard.
yeah, it does.
Just mind blowing. Mm-hmm. With you.
Let's see here if there's other ones that I think you should know about, which there's a lot here. Which ones are worth talking about? These here. A lot of people don't know about these.
Oh, I have those.
Do you have these? These are awesome. I love them. I
Yeah,
really like this back design.
yeah. I just did a video on those. I haven't posted it yet because like I recorded like 20 of them in a row for like the shorts of like the reviews of the March ones. But
That is the way to go.
mhm. Yeah,
I need to like if I take vacation, I'm like I need to take a whole week off and just do all videos, and that would probably help out. But yeah, I
yeah.
love this back design. I
Oh yeah,
really like that back design a lot.
yeah. For Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond Jim Tyler's Diamond deck. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Um,
can't find those anywhere. Like I was looking the other day because
really?
I mean, at least not the main places that I normally would go. So like I don't know where playing cards or X decks or a few different places. And
I got a good deal off his website specifically. He has a website, and
okay,
I bought them from him directly.
okay,
Yeah, I did the same thing with Steve Della's decks. Sometimes you got to look if you can find like the actual creator. Sometimes you can get a deal from them though. Like if you buy a couple of decks, and you can get a pretty sweet deal.
okay. Yeah, because like I'm pretty consistently just mainly those two. I'm rare playing cards and X decks, and that's pretty much it. So
There's a couple of other sites I'll go to where to find rare playing cards and stuff that's kind of difficult to find. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I'll send you some links
yeah,
just in case you're ever looking for something that's hard to find.
yeah, that'd be super helpful.
eBay is also a great source
Hmm.
for sure. I
Yeah, when
buy a
I'm
lot
looking
of
for
decks
something
off eBay.
specific, that's usually where I'm headed.
Yeah,
But for the most part, I'm not honestly probably 2/3 of these I didn't buy, right? Because like I've just been doing this so long that like companies are sending me stuff to review, so like I'm not trying to spend that much money on cards. Plus, again, I'm a middle school teacher and I've been married for a month. So spending money is not something that's super wise at the moment. But
I
like
get it.
you gotta
I haven't bought any cards in a couple of months for that. I mean, my birthday was like just passed recently. I got a deck of cards for my birthday, but
mhm.
beyond that, I haven't really bought any decks like I usually was back in the day. And things have been getting a little tight. The economy is not so great right now, so
Yeah.
saving that money is probably a good choice.
Yeah. Man, I was so desperate I want to go back to like 2013 when like verts and everything were coming back out and was like dirt cheap. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, seriously.
I was actually just working on something with not with the company Virtuoso, but so I'm always my brain is always going to like creating stuff, and not usually even like sleight of hand techniques or cardistry moves or necessarily anything. So just like different projects. One of the ones I'm currently working on, and I haven't decided if I'm doing this just for me or if I'm gonna like work to actually like produce it, is Cardopoly.
Huh.
So like, cause like there's all sorts of different versions of Monopoly already. I was like, well,
I see what you're saying.
why can't like there's like my parents have one that's called Dogopoly. There's a Harry Potteropoly. There's Star Warsopoly. There's everything, right? Granted, I've
Sure.
never seen either of those, but regardless, um, there's so many. Like there's Monopoly board game collectors. They just collect all the different variations of Monopoly board games. So I was thinking like, okay, well, what if all the different property sets were different brands, right? So like, for instead of Boardwalk and Park Place, it's Virtuoso Launch Edition and Fall Winter 17 or whatever, right? So that's what it takes up working on. So instead of free parking, it's now a hand massage. Instead of like everything has been, it's now railroads. It's like Cardistry Con, Magic Live, the different events. Utilities are now accessories. So like the X Dex carrying case and Cardistry trainers, or like, and then all the different chance and community chests, which is now subscription box and mystery decks. Those are all customized. Like I've just been having so much fun, even just designing it in general.
As long as we can get a piece on the board, that's the little baby angel on the bicycle. I'm down for it. Dude, we got to do that.
Hmm.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Now, I can see that. I can see that. Like, is there a way to have that custom made like that, or
yeah. So make playing cards, the same one that I've done my prototypes through, would do they do all of it. So they do custom board games as well. So like even including like the miniatures that as your the game pieces and the money and everything.
no way?
Yeah. So now instead of property cards, they're gonna be actual like regular cards, just one deck. And then like on the back design will be the back design of the property you got, and then the face of it will be a like almost like an opaque ace of spades as like the background, and then the foreground instead of rent, it's a handling fee.
I see.
So because then that goes both. That's a double, and then instead of houses and hotels, it's deck displays and display walls.
Huh.
So like everything is customized. So that's been so much fun.
Dude, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to shoot some stuff by you. So
Is there a minimum amount that you would have to purchase with them, or do they do single orders? How does that work?
I haven't looked into that one specifically enough yet because I haven't finished the actual design process of some of the stuff. Um, One, not just to I'm a little OCD, so everything I've been doing just like on my iPad, and I'm not a designer by any means. Like I can do some basic stuff, so like I can, but nothing anywhere remotely fancy. So like my Elijah Myers playing cards, I can do some basic stuff, right? But nothing where anybody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh,
I think back, bro, that looks pretty cool. Oh, that
yeah,
was the one you were telling me about.
that's the Reclaim the
Hmm.
Rainbow."
Now
Right.
I can see that with the way it's coming off of the border. That's going to be pretty cool for cardistry
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. So I can do stuff like that, but then when it comes to like Cardopoly, now it's like I'm just copying and pasting stuff from like Google or whatever. Yeah, and then this is what I was talking about there. But
I see what you mean.
yeah, so
It's a great idea.
yeah, I've just been making so much random stuff, but why not? You got a little. When I have a little bit of free time and like my wife's at work right now, so I'm like, I'll just go design stuff.
I mean, if you can get a couple of them made and make it a special edition, version that you can sell on the shop, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I've thought about producing it. The other thing that'd be nice is I could like um, kind of sell ad spots ahead of time. So like to decide what decks are going to go on different properties. So instead of like the reds being bicycle playing cards, three decks of bikes, it could be Cherry Casino, or it could be Fontaine, or it could be whatever. So I could reach
That
out to
might be a way to support having them manufactured, right?
Mhm. So that would give me a little bit of upfront cash.
Yeah.
So that would also be helpful. Or even a number of like the extra cards. So like advance to go or advance to now it's not you're not advancing to St. James. Now you're advancing to whatever, like whatever individual deck bought that ad spot basically.
All right. When it comes to this, I gotta ask, what will the get out of jail free card be?
So jail is now hand surgery.
Hand surgery.
hmm Yeah, so instead of like go to jail, it's go get emergency hand surgery, and then you're in the waiting room if you're right outside of it. Instead of just
Okay.
yeah,
Dude, that'd be cool.
yeah. So then like even like the I think it's the fourth space on the board is like pay $200 for whatever it is. There's two spaces, and then the one that's in between Boardwalk and Park Place. Those are now buying deck storage and an uncut sheet or something. So like this whole thing is unbelievably customized. I know which miniatures I'm using. Like the whole thing is done.
Yeah, my daughter, she loves Monopoly. She loves board games in general, but that'd be really
Oh
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm a board game gaming regardless fanatic. Like I would play board games and card games and stuff all day. I might be a
Yeah.
little overly
My
competitive.
daughter's the same way.
Oh yeah, I'm like I never grew up. I don't have to. I'm good.
Yeah,
That'll come
family
later.
time we're playing board games or playing cards or playing Uno or one of those.
Oh yeah, get Uno No Mercy if you're gonna play Uno.
No Mercy.
It's one that came out recently, probably less than a year ago. It has like draw tens, draw sixes, reverse draw fours, like all sorts of crazy. A skip everyone.
that sounds crazy.
Yeah, so like the reverse draw forward now, instead of going this way, it's now played on the person behind you. If you're playing two-player, it gets played on yourself. Like it's, and if you draw more than 25, if you're at that point in your hand, you are eliminated from the game. So you can either win by going out of cards or by eliminating everyone else.
I got to check that out because my wife, she also likes playing Uno. So that
It
sounds
does
pretty
get
crazy. That
stressful.
sounds like a little extreme, and I think
It,
we're gonna like it.
it does get a little, it gets intense. I'm not gonna lie to you. And one thing that my wife and I do, which I would not recommend to people who can get too intense during game night, we put on battle music. This is not a joke. We will look up like a playlist,
Whoa,
like
what?
random.
Battle music?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it gets intense. It is
Talk
we're
about setting the mood.
It is so funny. It is so funny. Highly recommend.
I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
yeah.
try that.
No,
Yeah,
in game
that's
night,
setting the mood for real.
you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go play Mario Kart with my daughter or whatever. No, don't. No, mute that. Put on battle music. Changes everything. Doesn't matter what it is.
I'm like picturing it in my head right now, and it sounds hilarious.
Oh, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. Oh yeah.
I can see that like being a thing, and like if someone is live streaming that, and it's just gonna be hilarious watching people get. And then on top of that, you're playing like the extra version of Uno, where
Hmm.
people are obviously people are gonna be getting hot playing that game.
Oh
You know?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh yeah. No, it is so much fun. No, plus she's a riot. She's crazy. My kind of crazy, but she's definitely crazy.
Next time I actually get like the whole family together, we need to play that version of the game with the battle music, and I'll have to
Hmm.
live stream it just to have a little fun, you know,
Absolutely.
because we I already know it's gonna get buck wild.
Oh yeah. Actually, speaking of her, she, even though I've been with her now, we've only been married a month, but I've known her for what, year and a half now or whatever it is. Um, she's only ever seen me perform two tricks ever.
Really,
Uh huh. Because
man, you've been holding out on her, huh?
I've specifically not shown her because I'm planning on doing a video on performing magic for my wife.
Okay,
So,
so you're gonna get her live first reactions.
mhm. Oh
That's gonna
yeah,
be crazy.
I'm so excited.
You did the opposite of me. Mine doesn't want to see anything anymore.
That's awesome.
You're doing great. Advice: do it sparingly.
Mhm.
Like so, if you're gonna make videos out of it, that's gonna be great because
Oh
then it
yeah,
won't be like you won't overdo it. You know, you won't overstay your welcome with the magic game here. You know,
yeah. It's not like every day I'm like, oh, let me show you. Oh, let me show you. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
that died out a long time ago.
Hmm.
Every once in a while, I get something really good, and the funny thing is too, she is one of those spectators that like you really got to pull something crazy to impress her. So if I do something that's she's like, oh, that's cool. That
Yeah.
I
Like,
get I get that response a lot. And I'm like, damn, am I good? Am I bad? What's going on here? And I'll do the
yeah.
same effect for someone else, and they're like, yeah, I'll get this crazy reaction. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people are bigger reactors than others. I'd recommend this psychology trick that I do. I think I have it on the channel. Crap, maybe I'm not. I'll have to look into that. Um, there's so much psychology behind it that is just it is ridiculous, and it is it's nasty. It just it's a little bit of a longer trick. It's not like an ACR where it's a bunch of quick hitters. It's just like a regular full routine trick, but it just messes with people, and it has a kicker at the end that just upsets everybody because
Uh,
you show people a bunch of cards and they end up not seeing their card in the packet that you have. You then show them again and it's not in there. You put one card down because you were going through it like another time. That you ask them what the card is, they say what it is. You're showing them the three cards left. You turn over this one; it was already on the table. Then so you showed them four cards. You then put those three on the table. You're like, okay, well, I showed you this one, I showed you this one, I showed you this one. What was the fourth card I showed you? And 0% of the time, I've never had it in the hundreds of times that I've performed it. No one ever remembers what the fourth card is. And you can do it for like a group of 20 people. And now the fact that everybody can't remember is so fun.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Like the more people would make it even more convincing, right?
Yeah. Yes. Then I'm like,
Because
I poured.
nobody can remember. That's interesting. You got to send me that.
Yeah.
I think I have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. It is. It is so fun. It is so fun because you can just mess with people, and I just start making up stuff just because you can. So I'm like, yeah, it's because I was a psychology major in undergrad and whatever.
I got to check that out, man.
Yeah, it is. It is a blast. The other problem is some of the bigger reaction tricks that you can do sometimes have like setups, so like out of this world or things like that can great trick, and I love performing out of this world, but it just takes it has to be a set deck. So
There's impromptu versions out there that are actually pretty clever.
no way.
Yeah, there's some impromptu versions. Yeah. I'd have to remember where I sourced it, but I can probably send you something
Yeah, do.
on it. But I found a couple of really good impromptu versions. Also, there's some versions out there. Oh man, I just learned a really cool version not that long ago with let's see if I have it here in my notebook. Just a second. I know I wrote it down.
I think it's chock full of stuff.
Yeah, I've got a lot of notes in here. I take a lot of notes.
On what kind of
Okay,
stuff?
so there's one that's not completely impromptu, but the cards get shuffled by the spectator ahead of time. Or like let's say I give you the deck, say hey, give those a shuffle, and then we'll continue on with the effect. And it's used just to give you kind of a hint on how this works. Is using the Gilbert principle.
Okay.
So are you familiar with that?
I mean, I've heard of it. I don't know it specifically.
Okay, there's a lot of tricks that can use it, but it can do a killer out of this world.
Okay.
And then there are other versions that are like completely impromptu, which you're so right about that. Out of this world is a killer effect, bro.
Oh yeah.
It really is. Even whether you're doing the classic or a variation, there's a lot of variations out there. I know. Um, oh man. Let's see. Alan, okay, so another great source for variations out of this world is Alan Ackerman.
Okay.
I have those books up there called All In, and it's two large volume books, and there are some good stuff in there. There, there's some good impromptu versions of Out of This World.
Okay.
Um,
Because the first time I ever heard of that trick was when I watched Matt Franco on AGT, and he did the human deck of cards. That was he was the first magician to ever win America's Got Talent.
a while back, yeah, that was.
Hmm. So when he did his human deck of cards, I was looking in to see how he did that trick and trying to figure that out. And it was basically just an enlarged version of,
Out of This World.
and then he had the ending where he had a three of clubs in the red side on both the stage deck and the regular handheld deck. So both of them had the one card wrong. So I just use that as a prediction instead. So since I'm only using one deck of cards, I'll have a prediction set off to the side. I go through my regular routine. They all separate into reds and blacks. I'm like, oh shoot, I got one wrong. Oh wait a second, don't you have a prediction? They pull it out. That was how it was done.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so I basically just mimicked the Matt Franco version, just had to alter it so because I don't normally carry around a human deck of cards. So
I don't think that's gonna fit in your pocket, man.
no, Honestly,
You know what? Why don't we end this? We both perform something, and we end it with this. And of course, if you would like to, I'd like you to come back, and we'll do another interview another time, and we can really go, because we have honestly, I've had a great conversation with you, and
yeah,
there's other
absolutely.
people that I've had multiple interviews with, and I would very much like you to invite you to come back. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I think sometimes after the first interview, it's not even an interview anymore. It's like, hey, let's have a conversation about X, Y, Z. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. No, I'm down. I'm down. Here, let me grab something real quick, and then me.
Bicycle.
Gotta try
Hat
to wait.
represent.
Sometimes you gotta improvise because I don't have a table in my office because our apartment's like 700 square feet. So,
Well, I improvise all the time. That's literally what I do.
oh yeah,
I think sometimes, I think to myself, I'm like, I know I need to start scripting stuff, but I improvise so much that it feels like a script.
all right.
Now I do have there's certain effects that I follow the script in my brain or whatever, but I really need to start writing stuff down more than, hey, remember this effect, by this person, XYZ, where I learned it. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
start writing more information now.
Here, I think there's a duplicate in this one. Let me get rid of that first. What's the duplicate in OPC decks?
I don't know. I know knock is the queen of spades. I don't I don't know.
I can never remember which one it is, but I'm like, I don't want to start performing and then have a duplicate somewhere in here. I'm like, that'd be cheating. I mean, I'm gonna cheat anyways. It's sleight of hand, but still.
Well, if you don't need exactly the correct 52, I can just believe you.
Yeah, I'm like, I just need. It doesn't actually matter what cards I have, but strange. I do not remember what it was. Anyways, doesn't really matter.
That actually happens to me a couple of times. Like
Mhm.
I'll be doing something and I'm like, wait a minute, I had two of these cards?
Yeah.
I constantly forget. That's why I remember the knocks. It's either the Queen of Hearts or I think it's the Queen of Hearts that's in the knock
Mm,
pros.
yeah. All right. I'll do that one I was just talking to you about a second ago.
Okay.
The sight trick. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. That this whole thing's shaking. This will be fun.
Uh-oh.
So, um, so you can just let spectator. Doesn't really matter what card they select. Um, can you see that on there?
Yeah. Got it.
Got it. Okay. I didn't
Got
know
it.
if it was actually in frame or not, so I was like, here. And actually, at this point, you can even let the spectator shuffle it as much as they want to. So you can. Truly does not matter whatsoever. It can be as messed up as you want. Get it back to the spectator. And at that point, I go through and find a few different options for what your card could be. So let's go with 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see if that would work. I can keep that in frame. Don't want to cheat you. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So this one, I have the cards here. I think one of these will be yours. And I'm just going to show you them one at a time. And as I do, I'm also going to ask you a series of questions. And I just need you to
Okay.
answer me honestly.
All
Depending on
right.
how you answer them, will change how the trick goes. Okay. Question 1. Is this your card?
No.
No? Okay. So then that card will go down, next one to the top, right? Okay. Question 2, it'll be, and the questions will get like consecutively more difficult as the trick goes on. Question 2, is this your card?
No.
No. Okay, yeah, that was. They don't get more difficult. Is this your card?
No.
Okay. Is your card a 6?
No.
Is your card a club?
No.
50-50. Is it a black card?
No.
Oh, you suck. Oh, that's a black card. Is this your card?
No.
Is this your card?
No.
Okay, let me back up. Did you lie to me?
No.
Okay, might have been a while since I performed this one. It actually wasn't this one, though.
No.
And it actually wasn't this one.
Nope.
Okay, what was your card?
The 8 of Hearts.
So then I always ask like what the fourth card was because I showed them 4, and then no one can ever tell me what the fourth card was. Now you might be able to because you've been in for a while, but
I was paying attention, but the funny part is I didn't realize it. So I think without going into spoiler zone, I think I know what was going on there, but I didn't notice it until after the fact. Uh-oh, I might have lost you there. Oh no, if you can hear me, I think I lost you. Oh, there we go. You're back.
I wish this for a joke. My phone just died, so this is actually my iPad.
Oh, okay. That was actually really quick.
Yeah. Kind of impressed with myself right now, actually.
So I don't know if you heard anything I said, but I said without getting into the spoiler territory, I'm pretty sure I know what was going on there, but honestly, I didn't realize what was happening until after the fact.
Yeah.
So that is great.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Like I just I didn't even so I realized like the first half, but then the second half, like you said, it does have that kicker. And I'm like, wait, when you say, well, what was the fourth part? I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I would have never. And like, if we were doing a regular performance and I wasn't in like magic mode, what's going on?
Yeah, and I told you I was going to have
I'm in spectator mode.
Yeah,
I would have went right over my head, bro.
Yeah, plus I told you what was going to happen.
That is amazing.
So, I'm gonna.
And not difficult, but that just works so good on the brain.
Yeah, it is not one that's difficult to do. There's a lot of individual things when it comes to choosing specific cards for what those 4 cards will be, but it is not like the actual sleight of hand side is unbelievably easy. It's mostly performance, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. So I think I got it in terms of color and choice, but I think there's more to it. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
There's color.
Do you have a tutorial on this?
I'll have to check. I'm like, it's color, it's suit, it's value. Even like in every single card with every single part of it is specific.
Okay.
So it is. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Even like the of course the standard magician messed up ploy, but yeah, so fun.
All right, let's see here if I can adjust this.
Though usually ACR is my go-to.
I'm saying, say that again.
I said normally ACR is my go-to, but since we had just talked about that one, I decided to show you that.
Okay. ACR, what is that?
Ambitious card trick routine.
Oh, okay. You got me messed up on that one. And what against the abbreviation or what? So normally, if you were here, I'd have you just select a card or whatever, right? Right to the cards here, pick a card. But since you're not actually here, a lot of times when I'm doing stuff over camera, I'll just have somebody say stop somewhere, right? Anywhere here. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can say stop. I know for a fact there's a little bit of a delay, but just kind of say stop anywhere.
Yeah.
Say
That
stop
works
there.
great.
Did you see a card or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Give the cards a little bit of a shuffle. And I'll try to be as fair as I can with this. Okay. Now, if I could find your card, that'd be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. If I could just find that card, and let's see if I just cut immediately to your card, that would be pretty cool. That was it. This wasn't your card, right?
That was not my card. No.
Okay, and this isn't your card, is it?
It is not.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see if I'm messing this trick up here. I give the cards a couple of cuts. Let's see. Cut here, and cut here. That it?
It is not.
Okay, so I wasn't looking into the camera, so I actually don't know what your card was. So let's just try. Okay. Was that it?
It was not.
Okay. It might seem like I might have messed this one up. So I'm gonna just try once again. And hopefully I'll get it this time. That it?
It is not.
Okay. Well, I think maybe I don't know what your card is, but I think there's a possibility that I had the card that you chose on my mind this entire time.
Okay.
So when I say that, of course, I think I know what your card was. I'm not entirely sure, but I do know one thing for sure is that I had the card that you chose on my mind this entire time. And by that, of course, I actually mean like literally on my mind, and saying that, was that your card?
That is dope. That's pretty sick.
I thought you might like that. I had those, no secret that I had those custom made for me. And
Yeah.
actually, it's so crazy, the story behind that. I was gonna come out with this as a product, but somebody beat me to the punch.
No
Like
way.
a month before I actually got the prototypes in. Yeah, somebody beat me to the punch with the idea, and there's no way. Like it was one of those situations where great minds think alike, because I didn't tell anybody about this beforehand whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it was like I had the prototypes ordered and everything, and I was like, "Dude, this is such a cool idea." And I was like, "Oh, these are they'll be cheap to make. I can sell them for relatively cheap, and I think they'll be popular." And somebody has the exact same idea, and I was gonna go into like a bunch of different ways to reveal it and all this stuff.
Oh man.
So it was just like, wow, how unfortunate. So I wasn't gonna go ahead and try to like release the same thing if somebody else already beat me to the punch. So I have the prototypes for myself, and I've just been kind of keeping that one to myself. But
yeah, I can't blame you.
Fun way to reveal a card.
That's pretty dope, honestly. My only thoughts on, my only question on this is every card standard? Not are most of them, but was every card standard in that deck with no gimmicks or gaffs?
Oh yeah, hold on. Every card was that was your question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, no,
There's
not
not
with
like,
that.
and there's no duplicates or anything like that.
No, 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 but like even like crimps or anything.
No, no crimps. Here, hold on. That's what I love. No cramps. I mean, this deck's a little worn out, but
Yeah, because that was my original guess. Because
that
then
it
that
had
would
a
make
cramp.
because then that would make the just like as a dribble force.
Well, there is a secret to that, but as you can see, there's no crimps in her.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, like I know a dribble force, but it didn't look like it based off the way you were holding it.
right, it was just stop here,
Yeah,
or like I said, it was stop here. It's
yeah,
going to be a different card every time. There's a little secret to that that I'm not going to talk about on this live. We may be able to talk about that separately.
yeah,
There is something to it, of course, you know that.
yeah,
But that one I am not. That's one of the ones like we were talking about. There's certain things I'm not going to give away.
yep. And
Not
that
going to
is
give that one away.
totally fine.
I will give it away to you for sure, as long as you don't give it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I like to share things like that. There's probably you probably have so many things you can share with me in exchange that will like
Yeah,
make my card magic 1,000 times better. So
yeah,
yeah, that's a good one. And there is many applications. It's 1,000% invisible. Um, it's a yeah. Without going into it, it's completely invisible. You can feel 100% comfortable giving the standard 52 card deck to someone, have them shuffle, take it back, continue to perform, and nobody would ever know what's going on with it.
that's
There's no
wild.
cramps, there's nothing visible, so it's pretty cool.
That's pretty sick. I'm gonna give you props on that one.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
It it's very free. It's very freeing. I've been playing around with it lately. There's like so many things you can do with it, and once you find out what I'm talking about, you're gonna play around with it too. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna come up with some really cool ideas, probably stuff I never even thought of. So it's definitely in my benefit to show you what's going on there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally in.
All right, my man. Listen, I do got to get going. We have been on here for a good time, and dude, we got to do this again. I had an awesome conversation with you, and I want to talk more uh, religion next time as well.
Yeah,
And get
100%.
your thought about maybe some. You know what? Let's end this. I want to end this with the magic tricks, but scratch that. Can you give me? Well, you've already given me some great Bible verses, but can you give me another great Bible verse? Something recently that because I don't know about you, but sometimes like I have the Bible app on stuff
Mhm.
on my phone, and I get all these great verses every day. But can you give me something that stood out to you recently? And sometimes I think God spreads His message that way, and He'll put something, show you a message or a verse or something along those lines, and maybe sometimes that just needs to be spread out. So is there something that stood out to you that you saw as something bright that you'd like to share?
Yeah. The verse that's been sticking out to me recently over the last, I don't know what, well, this current season that I'm in has been Matthew 6:33. It says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." So it's in the middle of his Sermon on the Mount. And it's just really those first three words, but seek first, right? Because, like, even with Cain and Abel, both of them brought something, but one brought their first and one did not. Um, God is not a God of second. He he is so much bigger than that. He can't. It's like with him not being able to sin and him being all good and all powerful and omniscient and all these things that he is. One of the things is that he can't come second. He is going to be first in your life, and that's it. It is the only acceptable place for a God of his greatness and magnitude, which is why it surprises me sometimes when people are going through tough parts of their life. They're like, man, I can't figure out why even in this good time or bad time or whatever, I don't have peace and I don't have this, that, and the other. And I feel like everything's falling apart. I'm like, okay, yeah, you read your Bible, but it's just the daily verse and you go to church on Sunday. Like, that's not intentionally seeking him, right? Like, this, you can 100% intentionally seek out, let's say, sleight of hand and working on this. And then you put in 3 hours a day working on a certain technique. And then you spend 5 minutes a day reading a Bible. And then you're surprised when God doesn't show up. And I'm like, but seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. And it changes everything.
All right, well, man, listen, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting God out there on your channel. There's a lot of people who are Christian, who do a lot of different things here on YouTube, and they have all these platforms, and they don't put God up there, or even thank God publicly. And I think maybe there's a certain like viewpoint of like how people look at Christians, or however it is. I mean, I'm just guessing at this point, because I think there needs to be more people that are how do I put it? There needs to be more people that are very upfront with their Christianity. And I think there's a lot of people that are sort of keep that part of their life hidden,
Yeah.
and not in the public light. And I think you've definitely inspired me to be better about that. And really appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we had a really great conversation, and we got to do it again.
I'm so in. I'm so in. Absolutely.
Sounds good, bro. Yeah, just let me know ahead of time. We'll get it set up, man.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
All right, brother. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Hey, I'm gonna get with you on that, because you can have some fun with that one.
Cool. I'm in.
All right, brother.
All right. Later.